And welcome back to another exciting episode of the Careful Boys.
Careful, boys! Crypto's doing fucking cool right now, except for me.
We are, speaking of Joe, we are in what has been constantly spoken about, whether directly or indirectly, in the best cycle of the bull run here for this crypto market.
There's bull run and there's bear run, but there's also ape run.
What's ape run?
Yeah, explain these to me.
He's speaking degen language right now.
Straight line up or what?
Yeah, how everything's about to go ballistic.
And we've been on this show before, and we've talked about different cryptos, and we've gotten a little meta with some of our fans and stuff like that. And anybody who's falling to Crypto Corner with Steve and or Joe and or me when I've lost shit. Point is, the depth of how much we care. But to get relatable and to get serious, what the fuck does that actually mean when you succeed in crypto, and what are you gonna do with it? What's the game plan? Some of you guys are out there.
I'm gonna do what I did last time, where I went from $1 million to 15,000.
But also at the same time, I think investing in crypto has been part of like the norm, like millennial society and younger, where I see a lot of people talking about crypto, trading NFTs and all that. So I feel like at this bull run, there's actually going to be a lot of people that are benefiting from it.
Can I
Wealth transfer.
Can I take a one half step back real quick and just talk about more of a macro concept of investments and the normalization of that, right? Because obviously growing up, investments, not a new concept. Everybody wants to get into it. From my mind, from my basic ass, just trying to figure shit out and not being born into a rich family, I think about things like your retirement fund, your
old ass shit.
Yeah, getting into real estate.
Even older shit.
And honestly, anything after that is not super quick to be accessible.
I didn't even think about investing until like 30 or later, because you just hear about fucking real estate stocks, whatever. That's that fucking boring ass shit. But I think kids these days, like crypto has a sexy element to it, right? Like not controlled by the institutions, it's decentralized. And then so like there's a lot more kids. Even like
they don't even know that though. I love you, brother. I love you. But
no, I think a lot of kids are like.
I know there's some do, right? But I'm talking about the greater masses. Unfortunately, don't even understand that or decentralization.
Not 30 and above, but I think all the young cats from 20 to 30. It seems like the norm now. We're like, okay, cool. I work at McDonald's. I'll put like 10% into some crypto.
Yeah, but the cryptos they pick are like some garbage shit, though. Is what I'm saying.
But as far as like from what I see, I'm a very casual crypto guy, right? Well, from what I see when people that get into crypto, especially like young people, it seems like it's more about the quick.
Exactly. It's such a mistake.
Meme culture. Return. That's why Shiba pumped the way that it did. That's why Doge pumped the way that it did.
Yes. Yeah. But you're not going to make the long-lasting gains. Like, dude, if you were just hanging out in my Terra Luna, like I've been talking about the whole year, you killed it compared to everybody. Yeah.
You scammed so many people.
Yeah, I did.
Dude.
But except for maybe Solana, like there's like one maybe who got away from me, right?
Solana crushed though.
Crushed it. Gotta admit, crushed it. Definitely still don't see why, personally, because I understand why Luna is going to be huge and why the Luna rewards are getting crazier right now. And for all of us who are staking Luna, it's like getting even sicker. But as far as like where a lot of the younger people who are coming into crypto and they get excited about it, unfortunately, it's about the intermediate or the quick gains. And I think that's no different than just buying scratchers at the fucking like.
There's gonna be a lot of losers. That's
might
the
as
thing.
well.
I do a lot of losers.
I do agree with that, but I think one thing that I'm like, what's kind of cool is even taking the first step into investing, which is the concept of like making your money work for you. I think it's cool.
That's what I like about this generation.
There might be a lot of people that lose, but at least they're losing and having a lesson.
Hopefully they're having lessons.
For me, I didn't even get into it until after 30.
Let me go ahead and admit to some ignorance and naivety. I don't know if it was based off of either lack of education, mentors, the educational system in general, but the idea of having, this is gonna be basic as fuck, your money work for you is a fucking new concept for me. Maybe I learned it like you said, 30s, like 4 or 5 years ago max. Yeah. I was never mentored and truly taught the value and the avenues at which that could happen in my 20s and or in the entire education sector.
Yeah, dude, I got my fucking financial aid when I was like 20, 21, 22. I got like 4 G's for the semester. I fucking bought rims with that shit.
They were dope though, right? Look,
He's the stimulus check kind of guy.
I'm like, dude, Imagine I took that and even invested in anything.
And that's actually what happened though. A lot of people who got this pandemic money,
Yes,
they
yes.
fucking pumped it into crypto.
Yes.
That's what I like and agree about this generation or Gen Z or everyone that's younger, early 30s and younger, right? Is this never happened before.
They're not as dumb.
But also, we didn't have accessibility. We didn't have Robinhood
Yeah.
to go. So we're considered what is retail investors, right? Like everyday people.
Yep.
Even if you got millions of dollars, if you're not a Wall Street dude or a fund, which is like a collection of, big ass rich people, banks, whatever, those guys are the ones that always had the access to stocks and all this stuff. We're getting fucking crumbs, right? But now with things like Robinhood and all that and everything online, we have access to actually do investing in whatever. YouTube too, we got dudes like Graham Stephan and all the, like Meet Kevin and everyone teaching financial IQ and making it accessible. I think that's the difference.
Like Cardano, and so that's sad. But to really get into what you're saying, what's so important too is like when a lot of these people are coming into crypto, I think that there's a lot of just negativity coming in because of all the bullshit meme coins that happens, right? But if they were to understand that all this stuff has actual utility and use cases, then it would be a different story. But they don't understand that. And dude, for every I have like a bunch of crypto corners, right, in my little group, right, my Patreon group. For every one of them, they know 3 people who say, I don't buy crypto because I can't touch it. There's nothing tangible. I can't feel it. And so, or I'm too busy. I have too much going on. If you just put your stimulus check into Ethereum, like everyone got on average a $1,200 stimulus check, that's worth like $35,000 today. Yeah. Back when me and Joe were doing Money Masters, we're telling people, put the money in the fucking crypto.
How much was Ethereum back then?
It was $80, dude.
Yeah.
It was
at 100,
$100, $120 max when we were doing it. So that's what I'm saying.
But no one was talking about it at that time. It was hella bad.
I had to do a debate actually and Joe was like facilitating this debate between me and a guy who said he thinks crypto's a Ponzi. And I was like, hey, I appreciate your perspective. This is great to have somebody who doesn't agree with me. Let's fucking go. And then here we are today. I had never heard from that guy again. He probably killed himself. But the point is like,
I bet you he still believes it's a fucking
that's what I'm saying,
scam,
exactly. Some people just lose.
Like,
He's
waiting. He's waiting for it to crash.
Exactly, and they can't.
He's a ruining cycle to end to be the bear market. Be like, I told you.
I know,
When people cashed out millions.
I told all you millionaires it would end.
But that's what happens though, right? When the market is down, and you always say you kind of predict it for the most part, to me at least. When the market's down, that's when everyone is like, crypto's bullshit.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the .com bubble,
Yes.
right? When it's a bubble. Like people were super excited. Stocks and all these things. What people are paying for is how much it can be, not what it's worth right now.
Speculation.
Like even Tesla. Like right now, are they worth the amount that they are? Probably not. They're banking on the fact of all these projects of what they will be 5-10 years from now. So that's basically what
Elon's charisma, but yes.
But if you zoom out on all of it, what he's saying is exactly right? Like it's an algorithmically, it's a going up like exponentially. You can see if you zoom in, there's dips, crazy dips, even 30% dips, even 50% dips. But if you really zoom out, the entire thing has just been going up the whole time. It's a new technology being adopted. Like when the microwave came out, there was a bunch of people who said, I have an oven. Why do I need a microwave? That's kind of sus. I don't get it.
It's gonna give me cancer.
So it went up like this, exponentially over a couple of years. It was flat, and then all of a sudden, it started to hockey stick up. And that's what's happening in crypto right now. You're in the middle of it. If you're in the United States of America, not even 18% of the United States owns crypto. It's still early. The idea that you're late is stupid. Like dude, when you can start to use this stuff, like Anthony uses this stuff, me and Joe use this stuff, Bart uses this stuff, kinda. And
I'm a noob. I'm a white belt.
Nick's a noob, but you're kind of you're interested in it. Yeah. And Ryan, you've actually done well. You've done well. You got some woo. You're doing a good
I
job.
always look at the tokenomics of things.
Yeah, tokenomics.
Bart, describe tokenomics to me.
It's when you look at the market caps and you divide it by the volume times a percentage, and you get the extrapolation of the parabolic path.
Curve. Thanks, buddy.
See?
I'm glad you have the biggest house amongst all of us. It gives me a lot of hope.
Speaking of parabolic curves and early adoption and raising everything, let's zoom out of just crypto and let's talk about just the idea of finance in general. Anybody here see the new inflation rates?
Dude, that just busted.
7%.
No, it was a 9.
Is it 9?
Technically, it's a document at 6.2% for 2021.
But last month it was 9.
Yeah.
So they come with the
So-
Today's video is brought to you by DraftKings.
DraftKings, the leader in fantasy sports, is putting you in the center of action to get a chance to win millions of dollars in total prizes.
Wow. Did you just say millions?
Millions of dollars in total prizes, and it's a super fun way to participate in the football action that's coming up.
It's pretty easy. All you gotta do is download the DraftKings app and enter the Football Daily Fantasy contests all season long. And they're giving out millions in prizes.
Millions.
Millions. But you gotta use the promo code off the record.
It's easy to play too. Just draft 9 players. You could pick the tight end, the wide receiver,
Quarterback.
the quarterback, and you just gotta make sure they got a salary cap of $50,000. And the cool part is you get to enter to win millions of dollars of prizes and play in a game that you already like.
Wait, did you remember to mention that there's millions of prizes?
Millions of dollars of total prizes.
It's pretty awesome because, you know, it's not every day that you could take a shot at this. And I'm pretty happy because, like, we get to have a lot of fun this season.
Yeah. Anytime you add stakes to a sporting event, it's that much more fun.
It makes it more intense. But also, it's something that you can play with your friends and yell at each other about because it just makes it way more fun when there's something to up the ante.
So if you want a chance of making money this season, download the DraftKings app and use the promo code off the record to get a chance at winning millions of dollars in total prizes. That's using the promo code off the record by downloading the DraftKings app.
So if I were to show you guys these ratings, for example, just over a yearly chart.
What's it mean, Anthony? What's it mean?
Okay, so think about it let's put it in simple layman's terms. If you had $100, okay, in 2011, inflation was 3%, which means if you had $100 chilling in your bank, if you had $100 US dollar cash, 3% of it by the end of that year or 12-month period would literally pretty much burn based off of raising prices
Of everything else.
Of everything else, whether it be your Starbucks cup of coffee, your McDonald's, your.
But how did it happen?
Go figure. Hey, not to be too much of a shithead here, I do have to beat the drum a little bit. Me and this guy were talking about this during the pandemic. At the beginning of the pandemic, we're like, they're inflating your money supply. You guys are about to get wrecked unless you hold assets.
Because they're printing it like a motherfucker.
And guess
They're
what?
printing this stimulus checks.
So in 2020, the inflation percent was 1.4%. In 2021, which was just released, it has now risen to 6.2%.
And they just the infrastructure bill that was just signed right now, they printed even more money. And this is why, like, full circle, right? Like, the whole reason why Bitcoin, crypto, all this stuff started was it's actually an answer to fucking Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah, read the Satoshi white paper.
Like,
that's what it's about.
And I remember back in the day, I was like, all these people going around with bongo drums, protesting, they're so fucking stupid, dude. If you really want to make a change, do something effective. And people got pissed at me. And I was like, this is the effective thing. Like, if you want to fight against the Fed, if you want to do something different, if you want to hold on to your wealth, this is the way you do it. Because fiat, which is dollars, printed money, all this stuff, right? They could print it whenever the fuck they want. They could just Biden just did it right now. You go,
like
you know what?
ripples.
Let's just print more. Let's print more. And the more they print, the harder you gotta work for your freaking hours, because the dollar isn't worth as much as it used to every fucking year.
And they just made it worse than ever. Why have a savings account now worse than ever? It used to be 4%. I used to talk about it on the show.
Losing money by saving it.
Yep.
That's the craziest thing.
6.
It's a hard concept to grasp, yeah? Because, like, when you look at money and the idea of money, you'd think it's kind of like this, like, infinite thing, and you don't know where it comes from or what it, like, how the value is determined, right? And when you speak of inflation, it kind of is intimidating. It took me a while to really understand what it is. But then my friends were saying, like, yeah, if you hold this money, you lose the value of it. You lose it by not using it. You lose it by not investing into it. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, you know, a cup of coffee back in the day, you know, it was like 25 cents, right? Why do you think that shit's like $5 nowadays? You know, it's like, it's still a cup of coffee.
Or even houses, like the house that my mom lived in that I grew up in the 90s was like, I think like 180 grand, and now it's like 700 grand.
It's because they keep printing fucking money. they keep printing more and more and more and more.
So based off of an inflation calculator for anybody out there who enjoys numbers and understands things, in 2010,
So 11 years ago.
Yeah, 11 years ago, if you had $1,000, that same $1,000 in 2021 has a 26.8% cumulative rate of inflation, which means you would need to have $1,268 this year in order to equal the same value of $1,000 11 years ago.
So what is the simplify that? What is
Again, cumulative rate of inflation in the last 10, 11 years has been 26.8%.
the value of now versus then, like dollar for dollar?
So 1,200 to 1,000.
So you lose $200.
$268.
So yeah, if you're a minimum wage worker, guess what? You're getting railed, and nobody's coming to save you. They keep on raising the amount of money that they're printing every year.
Yeah, inflation and taxes raises, hourly wages doesn't.
That's right. And guess what? Cost of goods goes up.
Yeah.
Cost of services goes up. Cost of everything goes up. But you get left behind. And that's by design. They don't give a fuck about you.
It's starting to happen too. You go to certain restaurants, you see the signs they put up of, sorry guys, we have to increase prices because of X, Y, and Z. A lot more.
And this is where sketchy conversation comes in because of belief factors and understanding of what you need to do. Because there are times when people complain about situations and focus on the problem versus accept and understand that problems exist in life and then figure out solutions that make sense in the time.
Or figure out opportunities.
Exactly. So
All I know is we just elected Democrats and they're pro-worker, and then we have a Democrat president who's supposed to be pro-worker, and there's nobody who's pro-worker. So it's back same as it ever was. Same as having Republicans in charge. So hello. We've been talking about this for years, guys. It's time to wake up and actually see they're taking your fucking life from you. They're actually taking away your power.
And that's why people say it's good to invest, like no matter how much money you make, because the economy is going to grow no matter what. It's never, I mean, there's little dips and crashes, whatever, but it goes straight line no matter what. So if you could take at least a percentage of your money and you invest like in stocks, real estate, crypto, whatever, you're going to be able to grow with the economy, and that's what's important. That's what keeps you in the game, because all the companies that you buy into, these prices will continue to grow up. But if you invest in them, then your money will grow with them as they can continue to grow. And you can.
Well, you can't learn that on your own. You can't learn it from school because they vote against that in school. They want to keep it as scrambled as possible because TurboTax is one of their biggest fucking investors. Congressionally, you can look it up. They actually killed legislation to make it easy for you to do your taxes because they want it to be complicated because they want to be able to benefit from it. Yeah. So, the outrage continues for me because you can see the game laid out before you, but then unfortunately a lot of people just don't see the game because they're inside of the machine getting played.
So speaking of the game, what's the end game?
Profit.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Using us as cattle.
It's what's happening.
What's the end game of like crypto then? Like how are you gonna navigate using this like newfound generational tool that like 90% of Americans don't use? What is the end game so that it's actually practical and has real world usage? Because most of the people that I talk to about crypto that don't dive into it and understand it, obviously we're already in a realm they don't understand it. How the fuck can they process?
Hey, look, just crypto Shiba on the blockchain. That's what people think, right? But actually, what's going on with crypto is your financial system that's being duplicated on the blockchain, decentralized. So you don't have to compete with the banks because the banks are making 10%, no matter what, with your money, at least minimum. Every year they're making 10%. You can make way more than that using crypto right now, using DeFi elements that exist that simulate the same way that the banks use to make your money make more money, except that you actually get to participate. You don't have to sit.
So in layman's terms, you are your own bank.
Correct. You're your own bank, and what you invest in is part of your portfolio, and they can't do anything about it.
I think the beauty of it is they can't print more fucking crypto.
Exactly.
Like if you get Bitcoin, they can't print out of nowhere. Like a handful of people can't just get together and say, let's just print more.
Nope. There's 21 million.
Let's just print more and then, devalue all the hard-earned money that you saved up in your bank account.
Okay, for those of you who are like, yeah, but guess what? They have so much money. They can just buy all the Bitcoin right now. No, they can't, because the last Bitcoin gets mined 100 years from now. They can't control the central power of Bitcoin because Bitcoin's still being mined. So you're losing the concept of it because you don't understand it. And it's not your fault. It's everyone, CNBC, all these guys, they all can't wait to tell you about how much of a Ponzi it is, how much bullshit it is.
But there's more and more politicians coming out showing that they have already bought into it.
For sure. Sure.
There are coins where they can just like mint and make more of.
Ripple.
And that's fair.
What's the term for that when they fucking the whole company just cashes everything out?
Rug pull.
Oh, rug pull.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people, there are things like that. So that's why, you know, do your own DYOR. Do your own research. The research is very, very important. But I will say that anytime we find out about like politicians, legislators, or anything like that like maybe stall or inhibit, right, the ability to like have something progress, but then they have their own fucking fat ass stack or insider trading stuff, that is a huge sign to invest.
It's a dead giveaway.
As a fucking gold ticket.
If it was a scam, would the Apple CEO publicly announce that yesterday that he owns
Tim
crypto?
Cook
Yeah.
has fucking crypto,
has
even if
Bitcoin.
Apple doesn't.
Guys, crypto's bad for the environment. I heard that 6 months ago, and even though it got completely debunked because they use mostly hydroelectric power because they can't afford it to just plug it in the wall, I still heard the FUD, so I don't care. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, the FUD works really well because the people who are haters get to use that as power for a little while, and then unfortunately get wrecked every
So
time.
FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Yeah.
And I mean, this has been in stocks too, but they do this to scare people out of selling it, not doing it, whatever. So then people that want to buy it for a cheaper price can buy the dip, as they say.
And being here, regardless of what may seemingly almost seem like oversaturation of the concept of the topic of crypto, we are in a fucking revolutionary generation. I don't think this type of information and the brashness of how we talk about it is actually
We might have to do a full
available
hour.
enough. Yeah,
We should.
It's not available enough.
Yeah.
I don't think enough people understand the severity of timing is everything. Think about timing in your fucking relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine that in your financial lifestyle and relationship. We are in what has been notably the .com internet style era and arc of our time for our generation, when we were fucking little kids in elementary and high school and we didn't know shit about investing into things like AOL.com or Yahoo or fucking whatever, and everybody made millions off of something that was like unbelievably, how is the interwebs gonna be a thing?
I'm not gonna buy anything online.
Yeah, we are literally
That's so stupid. Yeah.
The internet of money is happening.
Exactly.
The internet of money is
We
happening.
are in Web 3.0. The internet of money is happening. Anybody who denies it is only going to make those of us who believe in it richer. So thank you.
Or they work at Western Union. Good for them. But that's part of what's going to happen, right? So the power centers are going to shift, and all the people who live in like Latin American countries who use Western Union to send money home, the Western Unions of the world are about to get wrecked, and they should. They should have gotten wrecked a long time ago.
With those predatory fees,
Yep.
preying on migrant workers.
They can't wait to prey on them, and the power is about to get unleashed. So that when you travel to say you go to another country and you are subjugated to their prices, like you have to trade for their dollars. You don't have to do that anymore. You can do it all on the blockchain, and you can use your phone, use a QR code, boom, 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 and you can interact with the merchant. Nobody else's permission. It's one-to-one, and it trades your currency for their currency using crypto on the back end, and nobody even knows it's happening.
Bitcoin is already the official currency for El Salvador, right?
A few countries. Yeah, legal tender.
I do want to mention that like a lot of people, like, you know, they're intimidated, right? Because you said like we don't grow up rich or whatever, and then we also have a false idea of you have to grow up rich to understand this stuff.
Yes.
But I just found out that, you know, that Forbes 500 list of millionaires and everyone,
Everybody
right?
pays to be on? Yeah, sure.
Pays to be off.
But let me tell you this though. Only 7-ish people got their wealth from inheritance. Most are first-time millionaires, billionaires. Most are people that grew up from humble, middle-class, regular kind of things, you know, and they built their wealth over time, you know, doing normal, boring shit. That rock star billionaire stuff, that's a real small percentage. So that's everyday people. Like, everyday people has a chance to go out there, invest and do stuff, but they don't even open their minds to this possibility because we all have it in our thoughts like, oh yeah, you know, like you got to be rich or born rich to have this like access. But in reality, most of the people on that list, 90-something% of millionaires, they did it on their own.
Yep.
So that means everybody watching, you know, like you guys have the opportunity yourself. You might not be a fucking billionaire. I might not, but you know, but the possibility of becoming upper middle class or doing well for yourself, that's totally possible.
So possible. Your banks are fucking you.
You guys gotta be fired up.
You can actually make sick multiples. Your banks are collecting those multiples and for themselves, and they're giving you the bullshittiest returns you could ever get. I promise you can do much better.
Didn't you send me some certificate of deposit that was like 0.5%?
Yes, and the bank was bragging about it.
0.05.
It was an advertisement.
0.05.
Crypto Corner with Steve Greene. Promise you, change your life.